As soon as they got across midfield, you could tell the Chiefs were no longer thinking tie the game. They were thinking, let's go win it. And that play call was perfect to McCole Hardman. As soon as Mahomes rolled to his right, you could see it was right there. He's wide open. It was a simple pitch and catch after that, and another Lombardi Trophy going back to Kansas City. And that's happening right now as we speak. Let's take a look and see. We've got Edmond North out of Oklahoma leading Rainier Beach 38-32 in the third quarter of the first game. And the coach that you mentioned is Edmond North's head coach, Scott Norris, who grew up here in Springfield. He played for the legendary Hall of Fame coach Roy Green at Kickapoo and even played in this tournament under Coach Green back in the 80s, including a $1 million prize if you can put together a perfect bracket. Now, there's a reason that prize is so much money, and that's because the odds of a perfect bracket, 1 in 9.2 quintillion. Now, for context, the odds of being struck by lightning, about 1 in 15,000. In fact, the odds of being struck by lightning twice are 1 in 9 million. So is a perfect bracket impossible? Technically, no. Unlikely? Definitely yes. Jose Lejer set for his 4th season as bench boss of the Springfield Cardinals. So, Jose, first of all, thanks for a few minutes here on opening night. You've been through 3 of these now. How do they compare from Hammonds Field and Springfield to some of your other stops in baseball? The victory featured one team totally at ease in the big moments and the other completely losing its own identity at the most critical time of the year. The Ravens ran the ball more and more effectively than just about any other team in the NFL this season. Yesterday, for whatever reason, they decided to hardly run the ball at all. Baltimore totaled 16 carries, a handful of which were scrambles by quarterback Lamar Jackson. Those 16 carries were their fewest in a game since December of 2021. In that game, they gave up 41 points, which explained their need to throw. Yesterday, they never trailed by more than 10 and seemed intent on throwing the ball despite their own defense forcing Chiefs punts on 5 straight second-half possessions. It was yet another example of a team shying away from its strength in the biggest part of the season. It's the type of mistake you can't make when playing the Chiefs, or they'll make you pay just like they did yesterday in Baltimore. I think at this point, both of these teams are just about ready to get this week over with, stop answering the questions, kick off the football, and actually decide who's going to win Super Bowl 58. For the Niners, if they win, it'll be a little revenge for 4 years ago. If the Chiefs, if they win, it's just another chapter in the dynasty that they already have. In professional sports, the ultimate goal is always to win a championship. But sometimes the biggest honor for a player or coach isn't a championship banner, but instead a legacy that lasts for generations after they're gone. It's the type of honor Whitey Herzog earned for himself as a baseball legend in the Show Me States. The mastermind of Whitey Ball managed the St. Louis Cardinals to 3 pennants and a World Series title in the 1980s. His 11 years in St. Louis followed 5 as manager of the Kansas City Royals, where he led KC to a 100-win season in 1977. His preferred style of play, known not only for its success, but for its excitement, focused on aggressive base running, strong pitching, and excellent defense. Cardinals greats like Ozzie Smith and Vince Coleman thrived under the guidance of their Hall of Fame skipper. They helped Whitey win 822 games in Cardinal red, and today he still ranks in the top 40 all-time in wins for a big league manager. Whitey Herzog was 92 years old. And I'm now joined by Glendale head coach Brian McTague, who has coached in this tournament before. He's been with Glendale for about 10 years now. And so, Brian, you've got experience in this tournament. You know what teams like Paul VI look like. What's the message to the team when you're playing such a top-tier program? After Incarnate Word's semifinal win, the team's head coach, Dan Rolfes, suffered what we've been told is a heart attack. Incarnate Word put this message out on social media about an hour ago, saying Rolfes suffered a medical emergency while leaving Mizzou Arena and that he's surrounded by family and receiving excellent care at a nearby facility. IWA says it will share more information when possible. As for what this means regarding tomorrow's state championship game, we don't know yet. Incarnate Word, Kickapoo, and Misha have not yet made an official decision about whether or not the game will be played. When we know more, we will certainly pass that along. They weren't as powerful offensively as in years past. Last year, they were the #1 offense in the NFL, but it didn't seem like they cared, right? They just knew that if they could get into a close game late, they would make the plays, and they did tonight. I mean, blocking that point after attempt, if they don't do that, they probably don't tie the game. They probably don't get the game to overtime. They probably don't win. It's every single little play, and it's seems like they're just confident that they will make those plays when the time comes. Does this graphic behind me look different to you? Typically, these graphics show the Chiefs logo on the right. That's because that's where the home team goes. But for the first time with Patrick Mahomes at QB, the Chiefs logo sits on the left as KC hits the road to face the Buffalo Bills this weekend. The Chiefs and Bills will kick off their divisional round playoff game Sunday night at 5:30. The winner earns a trip to the AFC Championship game. It's the third time in 4 seasons that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will face Josh Allen and the Bills in playoff action. The budding rivalry between the 2 star quarterbacks has favored Allen during the regular season, with the Bills boasting a 3-1 record in such games. But in the playoffs, it's been all Patty primetime, as the Chiefs have eliminated the Bills in both of their prior postseason meetings. The growing competition has been compared to the rivalry between Hall of Famers Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. In this comparison, Mahomes would be more Brady than Peyton, as the former Patriots QB beat the Colts signal caller in each of their first 6 meetings, including 2 times in the playoffs. Manning finally broke through versus Brady with wins at New England in 2005 and 2006, but a playoff win over Tom Terrific didn't come until the duo finally played a postseason game on Manning's home field. In fact, the pair of Hall of Famers would play twice more in the playoffs, both wins by Manning at his home stadium. That's the part where Chiefs Kingdom hopes Mahomes is not like Brady, because Sunday's game will be the first time Mahomes plays a playoff game in enemy territory. The sights and the sounds. Every football fan knows them. And Saturday, those sights and sounds finally returned to Missouri State for the Bears home opener.
We always have a good crowd the first home game, and then you add family weekend, and we've had a really good crowd. It's packed on this side, and it really makes a difference. Our guys love it when they see a lot of people up there.
Amidst the sounds of a thriving stadium, a familiar voice rang through.
A very pleasant good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Bears football at Plaster Stadium.
For the first time in more than a year, the voice of the Bears was back.
It was a big deal for me to sign on after a little bit over a year's absence from the airwaves and be in that booth again.
Art Haynes' long battle with West Nile virus often made his return to the booth seem impossible.
There were times I wasn't sure I was going to live.
But Art never lost hope, telling himself he'd not only live, but return to the job he loves.
I kind of was able to kick back the naysayers and figure I'm going to beat this thing.
True to his word, with his family by his side, Art has bounced back, sounding as good as ever.
Alongside Clark, he throws the fade into the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown.
That was just an incredible moment to witness that and see him up there in the press box and look down on the field and do his thing.
Art's return replaces something that's been missing from the fabric of Missouri State athletics.
It just seems more authentic. Let's not discount anybody else. We appreciate everybody that's helped out and continues to help out, but he's the guy, right? And we want the guy if we can have the guy.
Of course, Art's always been the guy, but now he's more popular than ever before.
To see all of the people come up and say, hey, you sounded great, thank you for being back on the air, was a joy.
A joy for all of us, and a joy for Art himself.
I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this, but we want to do it for a little while longer because I just love being part of the game. Manning in the backfield, Clark back to throw for the end zone, caught, touchdown!
He loves being able to bring color and illustrate the games to people listening on the radio, so that is just his life.
That nobody who ever comes to the Super Bowl, whether they have tickets or not, ever picks against their team. And even if they think that's going to happen, they don't actually say it on camera. So this time I said, forget that. I only went with non-49er and non-Chiefs fans. Let's hear what they have to say. What do you think about Sunday? What's your prediction? Who's going to win and what's the score going to be?
I predict that the defense of Kansas City will be the difference. So my prediction, final score would be Kansas City 27, San Francisco 14.
I'm saying it's going to be close. My prediction is Niners 24, Chiefs 23.
I want to say 49ers, but that's going to be close. Maybe a touchdown, maybe by 3 points.
I'm going Kansas City by 13. 21-34. I think it's going to be a little higher. Oh, I'm 21-34.
I actually think Kansas City's going to take it. And I actually think it's going to take it by a landslide. Yeah, so like 24-7.
27-24. It'll be a high scoring game, I think.
So score prediction, I would say it's probably going to be San Francisco 27, Kansas City 22.
What do you think about Sunday? Who's going to win? What's your final score?
31-24 Niners.
Here's the KC Wolf. Hey, what's up? KC Wolf, who's going to win the game?
He's biased. He's biased.
Yeah, KC Wolf probably is biased, but still, I mean, a 50-50 split on the other people that I was able to interview. And here comes the KC Wolf walking along, not planned. I just happened to see him coming along, and he breaks the tie for us. Who better than that, Maria?